Good day and welcome everyone. I am Ida Lee and this is Raw Emotions. Please keep liking and subscribing to my channel. um, Today I would like to talk to you about soul food. I have always understood the meaning of comfort food. Growing up, it was always, like cream of wheat, um, potatoes and eggs. My mom would shred the potatoes and mix the eggs together with them, biscuits and gravy, and as I've gotten older and my diet has changed, so has my comfort food. Um, but something I never truly understood the meaning of was soul food. And it wasn't until this past birthday, my husband and I went out to eat. We went into a Chinese restaurant. Excuse me, not a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant. Um, and I've had Indian food here and there. But I've never had a full course meal. Um, and for whatever reason, we always put these little fears in our head. It's something different. The spices are different. It's too exotic. It's too far out there. So I've never really explored Indian food. With that being said, I found my soul food. It was like I was home in a bite of food. Um, and if you know what your soul food is, you understand the meaning of that statement. Because I can't explain it any more than that. Each bite I took was warming my soul. It was speaking to me. It was love in every bite. It was life. It was my soul food. And I was so excited because, we had a local restaurant, that wasn't too far out of the way and that was relatively, decently priced. And you were able to get whole food. I can't do a lot of processed foods. It's hard for me to eat a lot of processed foods. My diet is basically whole foods. So it's hard to eat a lot of processed foods. But and I hate to admit it, we were ordering takeout probably, between 2 and 3 times a week. Just because, dinner was taken care of. And then there was enough for the lunch the next day. So I had dinner and lunch taken care of. Um, oh, and with us, real quick, I do have to give a shout out to my cousin and my sister-in-law. I cannot tell you what it means to know that, a meal um, during the week is covered. It's something that I don't have to worry about. The stress isn't there. The thought is just, it's not a concern whatsoever. Um, and it's much appreciated, so thank you. Um, but so yeah, Tulsi, they closed. Oh, they closed. The horror, the horror. I was devastated when I learned that they had closed. Um, so yeah, I have now learned how to cook Indian food. Um, you know, and it just goes to show how we can get wrapped up in our own heads. I've never cooked Indian food before. Whatever you see on TV, you draw your own conclusions, you draw your own judgments. And for whatever reason, I just had it in my head that, it's too exotic. It takes a long time to cook. You've got all these different spices, you got to learn the names. And finally I had decided, it's like, well, I'm not getting my food, my soul food, you're going to have to bite the bullet and learn how to make this stuff. And I'm reading through the recipe and I'm thinking, this is it? Really? I'm just cooking the food and adding spices. Um, you know, Again, it's getting over yourself, getting over those fears. Yeah, I know how to cook Indian food now. It's not that hard. There may be some dishes, yeah, that are going to be challenging, but for the most part, I can have my soul food now. I know how to cook it. And again, it's letting go of those fears and, You know, that's that's what takes us away from the present moment. You know, is those past fears and worries we bring into the present moment, and we stop ourselves from living. If you think about it, you know, I've stopped myself from learning how to cook Indian food because of a fear of it being too exotic, too hard. Um, you know, I was having a conversation with my husband this morning. We were getting ready for the day, and you know, he's talking to me, and I looked at him and I said, you know, I said, "Are you going to die from your problem?" And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, you know, we put all this emphasis on our problems, and it's like a do or die situation. You know, we put all this stress and anxiety on ourselves, you know, and we think that if we can't do something or we can't get somewhere in life, you know, that, oh, it's you know, I'm gonna die. And do you? No. No. You know, it's learning to be present in the moment and accepting what is. Like right now, I'm sitting outside freezing my butt off, okay? Freezing. It's 55 degrees out, I think, if it's made it that high. Um, you know, the clouds are out, it's overcast, but I love being outside. I love being out in the sun and out in the outdoors. And Michigan, you don't do it for me. I'm not a northern girl. I belong in the south. I belong outdoors in the warmth. Um, but I'm cold, you know, I'm shivering. And at the same time, you know, I've got a full belly. I've got a warm house to go into. You know, I have all the riches of the world at my fingertips. If you think about it, it's all about perspective. It's all in how you look at it. And in this moment, I don't have a care in the world. Seriously, I'm happy. I'm content. What more could I ask for? You know, so it's learning to appreciate where you're at. And it's hard to do. And we forget all the time. It's really easy to forget. You know, and it's being aware and pulling yourself back into the present moment. And again, you know, something I focus on is my breathing. I will focus breathing in my nose and out my mouth, and I'll just listen to that, and it will help pull me back into my awareness of what's going on around me. Yeah, and I don't know if I've shared the story or not. I have done so many of these videos, and I don't go back and watch them all. And I do a couple takes, quite a few takes sometimes, and if it doesn't flow right, you know, I won't publish it. But you know, one story I have is with Bella. I was transferring her from the bed to her wheelchair, and I was having a really hard time for whatever reason. I wasn't picking her up right. It wasn't an easy transfer. The house was cold. I had a sweater on, you know, and all of a sudden I'm just dripped in sweat. Immediately, you know, I'm just hot. I'm irritated. And in that moment, I could feel myself, the anger, you know, starting to raise up. And it was like I stepped back from myself and I said, okay, breathe. It's okay. I could have very well have gone the other way and started yelling, which I've done before. And it's not her fault. You know, for whatever reason, it just wasn't an easy transfer. It wasn't working. I was the one who was having the issue. And so I'm crying because it's such an aha moment for me. But, you know, I stepped back and I started breathing, and I just left her where she was. She was safe. You know, I peeled off my sweater and I just stood there, and it's like, you know what? It's okay. You're not in a hurry. Pick her back up and reposition her. So I did. You know, I reached down, I picked her up, put her back in her bed, repositioned her, transferred her to the wheelchair, and we went out and had breakfast. So yeah, you know, that was a huge lesson for me. You know, and something this is silly. I have to sew bibs for her. I'm having a hard time finding ones that fit now that she's getting a little bit bigger with her neck size. Um, and I haven't sewn in, golly, she's 9, 10 years, 12 years. So, here I am at my sewing machine, and I'm really concentrating hard on what I'm doing. I'm watching what I'm doing, and I was present. I was concentrating. I was paying attention to what I was doing, and that's in the moment. That's being in the moment. Um, so that's just another little, example of pay attention to what you're doing. Appreciate what you're doing. Have fun with what you're doing. Nothing's too small to have fun with. We only get one chance at this life, so knock it out. I mean, find joy, find peace in whatever way you can. Um, yeah, and that's all we can do. But I am out here freezing. I can't stop shivering. So with that, I'm going to say adios. I hope you all have a great day. Go smile. Go share your love with someone. Go enjoy your day. Talk to you soon.